guys, thanks for tuning in. It's the one and only Optibotimus coming at you with another video review. And on today's episode, thanks to all of the absolutely incredible contributions from my Optibotimus Plus channel members, we're going to be taking a look at the new Transformers Studio Series Voyager class Battletrap. Straight from the upcoming Transformers Rise of the Beasts film, this one is really very exciting for me. There's just something about his look that I really do dig. For the package, much like all the Studio Series figures, you get this nice Transformers text along the side with the Generation logo. You can see that he's actually number 99 in the Studio Series. You have this little cutout right here where you can touch the figure. An absolutely gorgeous CGI image of him right there in the front. And then, of course, the Transformers Rise of the Beast logo right up there. When you come around to the side of the package, you got an up-close image. And, you know, he kind of looks like that Transformers Prime Soundwave. Like with the little eyebrow things and then the visor. I mean, that's really cool. Maybe that's what it is. I don't know. Come around to the other side. You can see you have a more pullback image of him. You got the little Autobot logo up there, although he's not really meant to be an Autobot. Come around to the back of the package. You got images of him in his robot and his vehicle mode that he transforms in 30 steps. He's an officially licensed GM vehicle. And then this is a bit of a spoiler right here, I feel. But it says Battletrap fires a barrage of blasts at Noah and Elena to secure the transwarp key. Potential plot point right there. That's interesting. And then as this is a Studio Series figure, he does come with the backdrop, which will be the first time that we see that. Sure, we'll see it a couple other times as they constantly do reuse these. But for the packaging on this guy, that's about it. So without further ado, let's get him out here and see how cool he actually is. And here we have Battletrap open up out of his packaging, and obviously in his very futuristic, dystopian-looking tow truck mode. And as I talked about, we do have a backdrop with him, which kind of sort of resembles, I don't want to say like a Stonehenge sort of thing, but definitely has a very cool kind of Roman sort of look with the pillars and such. You can see that there's a bit of a battle going on with some flames and some smoke. I'm sure we'll see what that is here in a little bit, but you do have that for a potential display if you want. And then coming to the figure itself, this is really cool looking. Getting into this mode is a bit of a pain in the butt, and honestly, I don't know if I have everything completely lined up properly. It does kind of create this look where there's like this gappage and such where it looks like it's not completely flush. And there's definitely some parts that don't sit down perfect. But that just might be part of the design of it, honestly. But as you can see, it definitely looks like a very, I know a lot of people keep saying Mad Max style truck. And it definitely does in terms of looking very beefy and aggressive. Colors look really nice. You got this very nice gray that goes throughout. The orange color looks pretty good. There's a couple painted elements on here that don't necessarily match with what the molded color is, but it doesn't look bad. You do have this, and I don't know necessarily if this is meant to kind of homage our good buddy Bernie Mac, but that would be kind of cool. I mean, this is kind of like a Mac truck almost, so I don't know. I mean, it's not, it's GMC, but it gives me that vibe. I don't know. But you can see you got this nice silver color. You do have the GMC logo on the inside there. Yeah, got this exposed engine section, really nice translucent orange for the windows, as well as the little light bar right up there. In general, I mean, it does look really cool. A lot of nice painted elements. You got the taillights painted. You have this giant wrecking ball thing here in the back, which is painted, which is going to become his weapon in robot mode. For the most part, I really like the way that this looks. I also really dig the fact that the tires are two separate pieces. You can see that you have two completely independent wheels put on there, which that's kind of a cool little touch. And then you have the main one right down here. So he rolls perfectly fine for the most part. Again, you got to make sure that everything is kind of squeezed in there well, but it does kind of feel like it's not done entirely, and to the best of my ability, I follow the instructions as closely as I can. It just constantly feels like things are not secure on it. I mean, for the most part it is, but it just doesn't feel like it's locked down as well as it should be. As I talked about, you do have this wrecking ball here, which can just detach. It just pegs on there. But it's meant to be his fist weapon. It is a different piece entirely than the bulkhead one that we got a little bit ago. But you can see you got all these spikes throughout there. You kind of can see an actual chain sculpted in there, which is interesting because he doesn't have a chain to kind of go around with it, but, you know, it's not that bad. But I do like seeing how it's kind of held together by what appears to be a chain. And then when you take that off, it's just this little toe section right here, which, again, doesn't really compress all that well. So, I mean, it tabs in there, but it just feels like it's kind of there. Overall, I mean, I like the mode. I just feel like it could be done a little bit better in terms of the fit for everything. Like I said, transformation into this mode is a little bit annoying. Going out really isn't all that bad, but does get a little bit kind of tricky. So first we're going to kind of loosen this up. You have this piece right here, and this part pulls up just like that. You can take this top section, you can tuck that down, but you kind of want to shift that forward a little bit. Come around here to the side, and then you want to detach this, pull this out, and this whole section is going to swivel around. So again, pull these arms out. Get that over there. Rotate that around. Now you can do with this kind of however you want at this point in time, but you're going to want to bring this up. This little post right here, though, does make me a little bit nervous. When you're bringing it in, it just... I just worry over time that could be problematic, especially since this one is fairly tight. So there you go. Put that in there like that. These are going to be his arms, and just kind of hang those out for right now. Come around here to the sides. Here you're going to bring these pieces out, rotate these down and around, and then you can take this and fold this piece in like that. Do that on this side as well. So bring this down and around, bring this piece up, fold that foot section down, and then these little pieces here in the back are going to, well, first let's detach this so you can kind of see what I'm doing. These little pieces here are going to rotate all the way around, rotate that all the way around. That's going to create the rest of his leg, and then just kind of straighten that. Then take this entire section here, rotate this all the way around, and then just kind of angle those. Then take this back section, you can rotate this, and then these kind of, you kind of can put this any way you want to, but you kind of want to bring these up like that, and then rotate these down. Get that, there we go. Like that, and then tuck these down, kind of like that right there. Then take these little top sections, these are going to rotate around. Oh, sorry, bring the head forward. Get that down, and then these bits are going to rotate down. And then this whole section comes up. This will lock into place. You do have a little post here in the back section here that's going to lock into his head. It's not overly secure, honestly, but if you give it a good push, it kind of sits on there. And then this, you want to shift this up. Now, you got these little posts on the sides right here that don't really feel like they lock in anything. They just kind of sit there, but just push that up like that. Rotate these arms down. Now, these you can kind of do whatever you want. First, rotate them right here. Bring this up. I'm sorry. Angle that up. Rotate those little spike bits up. Now, with these little things, you can kind of do whatever you really want with that. You can rotate these around. I think the instructions actually show you kind of tucking it like this. But I feel like that gives like a whole bunch of junk right there. I actually just like leaving these completely extended up. Feels like it fits along the arm a little bit better. Do that on this side as well. But again, you can do with that however you really want to. That's just my personal preference. Kind of straighten them up a little bit. Get these kind of positioned right there. And when you're done, there you have Battletrap in his really cool looking robot mode. And you can really see how kind of movie figures have evolved. And I've been around for pretty much all of them. In the early days, there was a lot of detail that was put in into these figures, but it created a level of complexity that really made the figures not very fun to transform. Granted, getting this guy into his vehicle mode again is fairly tricky, but it's not, Revenge of the Fallen Leader Class Optimus Prime level of tricky. And it still results in a robot mode that is outstanding. Coming in to take a closer look at, first off, his face, because I absolutely love it. I talked about how it definitely has a very Transformers Prime Soundwave look. That is absolutely gorgeous. I love the detail on there. The angular design of these little panels kind of looking like almost, if you paint that red, that looks like the crest of Wanda Maximoff. I dig it. But you can see a lot of detail through the entire thing. Now, granted, this is a bit of a faux chest, but it still works pretty decently. A lot of molded in detail throughout the entire figure really does help to, again, give a level of realism to this figure that I'm sure he definitely has in the film. It's just, I mean, a lot of times you would have to have a ridiculously complex figure to kind of have some of those details. Now, like I said, these little arm bits, I typically leave position here. This tends to pop out. It's just kind of, like I said, sandwiches in there. But as I said, you can really kind of position these however you want. If you want to have these be out like that to be some kind of a weapon, you can. They bend in a whole bunch of different directions, and you can, whatever you really want to do. I think the instructions actually have you doing it like this, but I don't know. I kind of think that creates more junk right down in this area, and I think having this here kind of looks kind of cool with these other spikes going in there. So you can do that however you really want. It's your personal preference. You also do have this wrecking ball that you can see. Getting this on here. It's a little bit easier to attach it from the bottom up and then close it around, but you can also come around here to the back section, and these little posts right here, is this it? Wait, I'm trying to remember. Yeah, you got this little slot right in here, and you got this little post that you can see has a little bit of a flat edge. You can take this and you can actually push that in there, and that locks it in, and that kind of does some cool little detail there on the back as well. I like that. I mean, if you're not going to have him holding that kind of gives him a little bit more sort of going on with the robot mode. I do dig it. Now, one thing that I will note on here is his legs seem like they're fairly long and skinny, and part of it is because, they kind of go off on an angle like that. I mean, they look a little bit spindly for the most part, but not bad for the most part. I just knocking stuff off. He looks pretty cool. He's got a decent presence to him. And even though you could see that in vehicle mode, he's pretty small, robot mode, he gets to be pretty big. Now, we have not yet had a release of the Rise of the Beasts Optimus. But from what we're seeing, it's basically a sequel to Bumblebee. So it kind of makes sense that this would be Optimus Prime. So you can see that Voyager-wise, they scale pretty decently together. He's a little bit smaller than Optimus is, but in general, you can see a good consistency here. So if you do want to kind of combine both of these movie figures, I think for the most part, they're going to display well together. And then for some other movie figures here, now granted, again, we don't have a lot in terms of Rise of the Beast figures, but here is Bumblebee, and you can see that he's a deluxe figure, so he's going to be a lot smaller. But in terms of keeping everything accurate from the movies and such, here is AIRAZOR that we took a look at a little bit ago. Again, a deluxe size figure that does get pretty big, because, again, that's a deluxe. So, scale-wise, again, you can see a pretty decent consistency when you're looking at the various characters and their overall sizes. Now, for his articulation, it is pretty much standard. You do have the head, which is on a ball joint. You can get a pretty good left and right, and then a little bit of up and down. Not a ton going on there. The shoulders here do have pin hinge joints with the swivel going on. You do have this little piece right here that does kind of get a little bit messed up when you pull it all the way up, because you want to keep that angled out a little bit just to give some dynamic flair, but You do have a good range of motion. The shoulder, or the elbows here, right at the upper part of the elbow, does rotate. You also do have that hinge. You do have nothing at the wrist. That's all locked into place. The waist does rotate around. The hips do move forward, back, in and out. They rotate at the upper part of the thigh. You do have a very deep bend here at the knee. You can see a little bit of filler right there, which is nice. And then when you come down to the ankles, they have a little bit of forward and back, mostly back than anything, but they do have some ankle tilt, which is nice to see. Overall, though, a really very fun looking figure, very cool, very, very movie looking. And in the movie, we're seeing that they aren't necessarily Decepticons. These are being referred to as Terrorcons in this, or if it's just the Maximals, Autobots, and Terrorcons, which is interesting to me. I don't know how that's going to play out, but we'll find out soon enough. Now, as I mentioned, transformation back into his vehicle mode can be a bit of an annoyance. What you're going to want to do here, first come around to the back. If that hasn't dislodged, kind of pull that away, shift that down just a little bit. These arms, you're going to extend these up and then rotate these bits around just like so. I should probably not be zoomed in that terribly far, but you're just going to kind of straighten these up just like that. Get that on that side. And then shift this little piece here is going to pull the head forward, bringing that, and then these bits are going to rotate around like so. It's going to bring all that stuff around. Then you want to take the head, tuck that up and in, and then this whole section, bring that down. There you go, come on, and then bring that. There we go. So his face is going to be behind here. Then you want to take this. You can rotate this around if you really want to, and then fold this forward. This is going to collapse down, but you don't need to collapse that just yet. Come down here to the waist. You want to rotate this all the way around. A lot of this stuff right here, this is the easy part of the transformation, I should say. Get these thighs and everything kind of lined up decent. Come around here to the side pieces. This is going to swivel out and down to the bottom. You can swivel this down, bring it around to the bottom. Take this section here, fold this, fold the foot all the way down. And that now is a little bit crooked. You want to keep this fairly straight. And then take this and bring this up. Or I'm sorry, bring this down. Bring this down. Just like so. And then all of this is going to swivel up here and connect in. But before you do that, connect this little piece right down here. It's a little sliding tab. And then here you just kind of get this as straight as possible. Kind of get that as lined up as you best can. Something like that. There we go. Come around here. You're going to bring these bits up. And connect these. They connect here in the middle and down here in the lower section, but it does get tricky to do. Connect that and then kind of push that forward like that. All right, now this is where things start getting a little bit chaotic with him. I mean, if you want to, you can bring these all the way up just like so right now, but I kind of like leaving these out just to give you a little bit more space. This section here, you want to detach this, and like I said, I don't like this connecting piece. I feel like that's going to mess up the little post over time. So there we go. Bring that out. You got two hinges here, so bring this all the way up just like that. Now, once you have this, actually, you have to bend this like that. Rotate this around, sorry. Bring this up and rotate this out and around. And then you bring this around. When you do that, you want to take these little bits here and kind of line that up nice. Kind of put it there. So it can kind of sit in there, and then do this on this side as well. Yeah, I don't like this connecting piece. There we go. All right, so now this goes around. Sorry, it goes around like that. And sorry, you gotta put it like this. There you go. Rotate that around, and then you got a little slot section here that you need to put this down and in. So take that long piece, line that up, and that's gonna sit in there semi-decently. It's, like I said, I'm not a big fan of this. This part does get a little bit jumbled, and I'm not overly... Oh no, I had that rotated the wrong way. That's why I rotate that around. So once you get it, you're going to bring all this in. And when you have that like that, you're going to see you have these little slot things. And again, like all this stuff gets twisted. You got these little slot pieces here underneath the forearms. That needs to line up with that small little post right there. It's not even a post. It's the little spike. Where's this guy at? Turn this out. The little spike thing here. So you're going to bring this down, and that lines up with the spike. So that the spike kind of goes inside that little area. Bring this back, and this then shifts down. Bring that forward. This is supposed to shift. You can kind of see where it's supposed to go. But again, like nothing. And we're just going to do that. And clip that all the way down. That'll kind of hold that there. Maybe that'll make that a little bit easier. And then this is where you have to kind of fight with some of this stuff. There's that. There's that. This is going to come around here, and this locks in here on that side. This locks in here on that side. Now, I guess that does make it a little bit easier, but it's still... And then you just squeeze that together. And for the most part, there you have Battletrap back in his vehicle mode. As I mentioned, Transformers are always kind of a funny thing. There's usually one way that's easier to transform than the other. And this is definitely the case with Battletrap. Going into the robot mode where you're pulling everything apart, super easy. You're going in a kind of direction where everything kind of wants to go. Going back into this mode, though, you seem to be kind of fighting things. So the transformation isn't all that fun to do. It is a fairly average transformation. Vehicle mode wise looks fine. Like I said, it does have this very, like, it's not fully done look to it. Like when you look at this, it looks like it's on an angle and stuff. I mean, I'm not going to be displaying him in this mode, so it doesn't really matter all that much, but it definitely is the weaker of the two modes, but it still looks cool nonetheless. Robot mode, though, is where I think this guy really does shine. Other than the fact that he does have fairly long and lanky legs, which happens from time to time, the overall look on him is really cool. I love his head sculpt. The colors all look really great. And from what we see in the trailer, seems to be able to go toe-to-toe with some of the big boys in the movie. So I'm very curious about this character and exactly where he fits in the new Transformers movie universe. But beyond that, guys, that's about it. There's my look at the new Transformers Studio Series, Voyager class Battletrap from the Transformers Rise of the Beasts film. If you'd like to add this guy to your collection or any other Transformers, you can do so online at places like Big Bad Toy Store, Amazon, or even Entertainment Earth. And if you choose to use the link to go to Entertainment Earth, in addition to getting free shipping on anything over $39, clicking on my link will also save you 10% off of any order of anything in stock, helping all of you to save some money. and helping to show your support for the channel. And finally, guys, please remember that the real trouble with the world is that too many people grow up. As always, this has been the one and only Optibotimus, saying adios, au revoir, and auf Wiedersehen.
And if you don't know, now you know.